Hi, I'm Bami Boneye, founder of the Bami Boneye Research Foundation. Would you believe me if I told you that last night I was visited by the spirits of Christmas? Would you listen to a story about it? Enjoy. London, 1847. Boneye Manor loomed over the street like a debutante who'd grown too wealthy and too self-aware. A gothic silhouette in fog, dripping with gargoyles with eyelash extensions. It was Christmas Eve, and while a snowstorm raged outside, the Boneye family's annual Christmas ball was in full swing. It was Christmas Eve, and while a snowstorm raged outside, the Boneye family's annual Christmas Eve ball roared inside, a Yuletide bacchanalia of overtly religious carols, brandy, and pride-based dance-offs. The candles sparkled, the grand piano tinkled, the fire roared beside the majestic Christmas tree. Beneath the tree was stocked full of presents, including a puppy who was suffocating because his box had no air holes. And yet, Miss Bima Boneye, heiress, aesthete, and underrated genius, sat isolated upstairs, practicing her favorite hobby, feeling crushed by the massive weight of her own privilege. "Oh, Christmas," she cried, "you villain, you red and green tyrant, you festive chain of holly around my elegant neck." Snow slammed against the windows as someone knocked on her door. Her favorite servant, a girl her age, named Povertina, entered. "Miss Boneye, are you quite finished swooning?" "No," Bima said, flinging her arm across her face. "Christmas has wounded me morally, spiritually, and libidinally." "You look exactly as you did 10 minutes ago." "Exactly," she sobbed. "Tragically misunderstood. You, who work as my servant 14 hours a day for mere pennies, would never have the time nor luxury to understand the complexities of my anxiety and depression." "Very well, miss," Povertina sighed. "What burdens you this time?" Bima rose, her holiday ball gown a storm of lace. "Everything! Mother insists I descend the staircase in my new Christmas gown, red, like some kind of ghastly peppermint confection. Father demands I smile benevolently at the orphans who we sponsor in order to appear charitable before the newspapers. And everyone keeps telling me, 'Sparkle, Bima, sparkle.'" She collapsed onto her chaise again. "Sparkle, as if I were a bauble, a trinket, a Rubicon ornament on the Christmas tree." "Oh, Christmas," Bima lamented. "Why must everything be cheerful when my soul is clearly Dickensian and complicated?" "You are not oppressed by Christmas," Povertina said. "You are oppressed by your own dramatic instincts." "'Tis the same thing." "All right, you silly lass. Like the receptionist of St. Trinian's School for Girls always told me, you gotta get your serotonin levels back in balance." Povertina pulled out 2 bags of pills. "Red ones bring you up, blue ones bring you down." "Well, I definitely need 2 of the red." And with that, Bima descended the staircase. People gasped and marveled at her poise and beauty. The reds started kicking in, and she felt like she was floating in a warm pool. She kept screaming in horror mid-conversation, mistaking Uncle Bartholomew for a giant nutcracker. But to be fair, he was dressed like a giant nutcracker, so that's not fully on her. Bima, revved up on reds, demanded Christmas carols with an up-tempo. "Jingle bells, Feliz Navidad, All I Want for Christmas Is You" by Mariah Carey. Her suitor, Mike Hawk, was captivated. He was also 25 while she was 17. But most importantly, he was incredibly wealthy. After her performance, Mike Hawk pulled Bima aside and expressed his intense passion for her in front of everyone at the party by holding her hand. Bima's father's eyes narrowed protectively. Aunt Flo clutched her pearl necklace. "Bima, might I think it most romantic, most befitting, and most rational for me to impulsively propose a marriage to you?" "A Christmas engagement," he vamped to the crowd. They cheered. "A Yuletide proposal!" More cheers. Aunt Flo began seizing and foaming at the mouth. Meanwhile, Bima's amphetamine-riddled brain was racing. Her heart was racing, and her armpits were soaked with sweat. One might have thought that her family would notice her manic behavior, but they were all upper-class people, so they were all off their heads in some way. They just enjoyed Bima's renewed Christmas sparkle. Eventually, Bima shook her head. I wish not for a Christmas proposal. Oh, Christmas, my enemy. No, I wish for a proposal about me. Me alone and nothing else. Me as the subject, the predicate, and the object. Alas, I am misunderstood. Bima fled the party and locked herself in her room and collapsed on her bay window perch, sobbing and staring out at the snowy Christmas night. She couldn't actually muster tears, so she just pretended to create a moment. After the pills wore off, Bima crashed. In the still of the night, in the cool moonlight, a voice echoed through the room. Beware, Miss Boneye. Bima stirred in her slumber. Then crash! The window flung open and fog spilled in. Wind howled, and the dwindling fire roared to life as Bima sat upright in her bed. Something pale and shimmering floated into the room. It was a beautiful ghost. Long hair cascading in spectral curls, a tight-laced corset around an 18-inch waist, a long train to her gown, glitter, crystals, and luxurious fabric everywhere. She levitated with perfect posture. Greetings, the voice said. I am the ghost of Christmas excess. Bima straightened. What's a title? Is there a sash? There was, the ghost said. It was taken by the ghost of Takesy Backy during a pageant feud. Absolutely fascinating, Bima whispered. The ghost floated closer. You have been chosen, Bima Boneye, chosen to confront the reckless extravagance of your existence. How fun, Bima said. Is there an outfit change? There will be 3, the ghost confirmed. Bima clapped. Oh, Christmas! At last my adversary presents me with a challenge that comes with accessories. The ghost waved her shimmering hand, and instantly Bima was encompassed in sparkling Yuletide magical energy. This is kind of painful! The ghost of Christmas past just laughed maniacally as Bima choked and writhed against the burning agony of magic. After the magical makeover process was complete, Bima fell to her knees, gasping for air. She was in a similarly garish, crowded, and kinda draggy replica of the ghost's gown. It was a lot, but Bima was pretty enough to pull it off. I may hate Christmas, but you've got good taste. Indeed, the ghost said. Now, behold the truth. The fog thickened and they were teleported back in time. Boneye Manor's ballroom during Bima's childhood, bursting with lace, jewels, and plum-pudding towers bigger than children. Everyone glittered. Everyone was cheerful and gay. Everyone was smiling, except young Bima. I was so cute, adult Bima admitted. Mother, father, young Bima spoke with such authority. I ate too much pudding and now my stomach aches. Have the chef arrested immediately. Bima, darling, it's Christmas. So you'll let that villain fatten me up like a Christmas goose? Do you plan to serve me for Christmas dinner next year, father? Mother, do you not care about me? This is abuse against my slender disposition. How dare you stand for it? Bima nodded in agreement with her younger self, going so far as to applaud herself when she stood up and knocked over the trays of food before storming out of the room. Behold, the ghost proclaimed, the curse of excess, the weight of ornamentation, the tyranny of perfect posture. We look so Polish, though. The ghost nodded. Well, how about this one? Well, how... The ghost shook her head grimly. Well, then how about this one? The scene changed. A group of chimney sweep children invited for the annual charity photo shoot awkwardly clutched oranges as camera shutters flashed around them aggressively. Their faces were pale, cold, and emaciated. Oh, Bima whispered, heart heavy. They don't sparkle at all. The ghost floated beside her. No one sparkles when they're starving, darling. Bima's younger self walked in and commented on how scary poor people look. It made her look bad, unkind even. Bima felt something shift inside her, something emotional, something earnest, something that could only be described as compassion, finally meeting sincerity. I should stop over-consuming, being greedy, and wasting food just so poor people can't have it, she said. And just like that, she was back in her room. The fire was lively while the room was still. She ran to her door, but it was locked or stuck. Bima panicked. Somebody help! I've been taken captive by an evil ghost! Call a priest! Call a Ghostbusters! But not the one from the 2016 remake! The door opened, but an early 2010s Tumblr girl stood in her way. I am the ghost of Christmas wokeness, actually. I'm not like you, and I'm not like other girls because I don't wear makeup. I like pizza more than I like salads. I'm not stupid, and I'm not a bimbo for hot guys. What a poor, terrible existence. Are you ready to learn your lesson? Because I have to go be a girl who reads actual good books, actually, and be a gamer. The ghost of Christmas wokeness waved her hands. Unlike the girly girls, her magic wasn't frilly and stupid. It didn't wear vanilla-based perfume, which is pseudo-scientifically proven to attract men. No, her magic wasn't like the stupid girly magic. It was much like Zelda or Pokemon or something like that. When the when the ghost's much smarter magic dissolved, Bima was wearing a nun's habit, no sparkles. Her hair was covered, and her bosom removed from view. You bitch, she seethed at the ghost. Indeed, the ghost said. Now behold the truth. Again, the ghost waved her arms, but instead of dissipating in magical smoke, they just walked into the hallway. Instead of the grand staircase, the ghost led her to the servants' stairway. This is barbaric, Bima whispered, barely able to maintain her balance on the narrow, steep staircase. Poor people must have terribly tiny feet. No, Bima, their feet are just like yours, only calloused and tired. Your father built these dangerous stairs because he's cheap and doesn't care about his servants tripping and falling unless they break the china. Remember your first nanny? No. Well, she broke her neck falling down these stairs. And at her funeral, your mother and father hired her daughter to clean up the mess she made. The girl was indentured into servitude to help clean it up. But then they charged her for cleaning materials, food, and board. She was trapped here, earning less in wages than they charged her for food and shelter. But what does that have to do with me? The ghost opened the door to the kitchen, where Povertina sat crying over her Christmas dinner. 3 cannellini beans, the meat left on a ham bone, and a pudding she had to fight one of the dogs for. Povertina is someone's daughter? She and the ghost watched Povertina savoring her meager meal, break down sobbing. Mummy, I miss you, and I miss Christmas joy. And she has feelings. You see, you take so much for granted, but you also get jealous and destroy things so no one else can have them. I just thought I was being proactive. But I am going to definitely internalize that lesson this time. Just like the bourgeoisie. Alright, I'm having a moment here. Cut it with the call me bullshit. Fine, come on, let's go back. I need to upload my race-swap Disney princess fan art to Tumblr, actually. They walked upstairs and Bima got into her lush, comfortable bed, troubled. Guilt. Is there any pain greater than a privileged person feeling guilty while also not wanting things to change that much? But what could Bima do? She was just a girl. Despite her racing mind, Bima fell asleep quickly. When the clock struck 3, the cozy fire went out. Bima huddled over under her covers. Eventually, the chill woke her and she gasped upon seeing the grim reaper at the foot of her bed. Are you the ghost of Christmas scare tactics? The reaper nodded. A bony finger beckoned Bima out of bed. She complied, too frightened not to, and the robed figure put a skeletal hand on her shoulder. They arrived at a snowy, desolate cemetery. Bima looked at the Reaper. "I'm supposed to have another outfit change," she said. The Reaper tapped his scythe on the frozen earth. Bima's gown transformed, warm black velvet, glittering sleeves, fingerless fishnet gloves, a collar so high it could double as a guillotine, and a black mourning veil. The Reaper raised a bony finger pointing straight ahead. Bima followed. Despite the terrifying situation, Bima couldn't help feel a little glamorous. Crossing the snowy cemetery, her gown fluttered in the wind, her veil pressed against her face. The grave had no elaborate headstone, no marble weeping angel statue. It was a pauper's grave, a frightening thought on its own. But the closer Bima stepped, she lifted her veil and knelt down. Crudely written on the wooden cross was the name Bima Boneye. "No!" she screamed. "I'm dead? In a pauper's grave? Where's my statue in memoriam? And why was I buried with my maiden name? What about Mike Hawk?" She looked at the Grim Reaper for answers and gasped. "Unmarried? Squandered my inheritance? No, that's not possible. Everybody loves me. I'm stylish and beautiful and rich and spoiled and selfish and disharmonious as well as cruel. I'm realistic and flawed, not a goddess. Oh, Christmas, you have taught me well. Scary future ghost, is this my destiny? Is this my path? Have I time to change? To act sweet, get married, to secure the bag, and then act like a total bitch?" The ghost nodded. But it raised its scythe and Bima cowered. It flung the blade down and Bima screamed, falling out of her bed and onto the hardwood floor. It was light outside. She was alive. Had it all been a dream? A knock at the door and Povertina entered. "Happy Christmas, Miss Boneye. Are you feeling better?" "Oh, Christmas, my salvation, my new friend. Happy Christmas, Povertina. I have a gift for you." "For me, miss?" "Yes, for your loyalty and kindness, Povertina. I give you the gift of freedom. You are fired." "Fired, miss?" "Yes, we are not bound by fate. We make and shape our own destinies. Be free, Povertina, and go shape your own fate." "Please, I need this job. I'll be on the snowy streets, whoring me body out to a syphilitic clientele for food and shelter. You don't understand, and I don't need to. I'm Bima Boneye, and I've been changed by the spirit of Christmas." "Mother, father!" She ran out of the room as Povertina collapsed, sobbing in despair. "Mother, father, my Christmas sparkle has returned. I've made my decision. I love Mike Hawk and I want to marry him. A Christmas engagement, a Christmas romance, a Christmas happily ever after." After having Povertina escorted off the grounds, Bima noticed that her jewelry was missing. Povertina was arrested for her crimes of theft and locked away in a cold, lonely cell. But, in spite of this massive betrayal, Bima's Christmas sparkle didn't diminish. But in spite of this massive betrayal, Bima's Christmas sparkle was not diminished. She and Mike Hawk were engaged at Christmas brunch. The end. Wow. Whether it's A Christmas Carol or a deep tissue massage, I love a happy ending. I'm Bami Boneye. Merry Christmas and goodbye.